On the edge of space, before time began, there was only the hubverse. Sprocketeers avenged clarity, they dismantled obscurity, they danced when the flywheel spun. Here, we bring you the stories and the journeys to becoming the HubSpot superadmin. In this episode, Travis promotes his New York Times bestselling book. He shares with us the mental challenges of pivoting, and he explains why he's in the growth ops business. Welcome to the Becoming a HubSpot Superadmin podcast, powered by Sprocketeer. We're championing the HubSpot Superadmin, and with us today, we have Travis Scott. He's the founder of RainierDigital. It's the growth ops agency, and he's the host of the Winding Road Careers podcast. Hey, Travis.
Hey, thanks for having me, Grant. Looking forward to it.
Same. When we met, we had a really good conversation, and we scheduled this, and now I'm really looking forward to diving into the questions with you. We're going to have a good time. Let's start off with the fun one. What's your favorite HubSpot tool, and why is it your favorite?
I'm probably, I'd be curious to know what everyone else says, but it's probably similar to what a lot of people say. I think it's workflows, right? I mean, I love building things. I love like making things work that you didn't think could work. And workflows help make that happen. And kind of like to put on my MacGyver hat. That's going to date me and some people that might go over some heads, but I like to put on my MacGyver hat and grab a piece of gum and a paper clip and workflows and make stuff happen.
Wait, I think colloquially workflows are MacGyver mode for everyone.
Yeah,
With
absolutely.
the custom coded actions, you could pull anything in from the web.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do. I'm trying to hack some things now with non-HubSpot forms, and so I'll probably be going out to the community to get some help, trying to map them when they can't be mapped, but maybe using a workflow to do that.
Heard calling individual properties to then take that input and put it in the right spot.
Yeah. Yep. So trying to figure that out now.
Workflows. I said this in a previous podcast that I need to keep a running tally. I need to go back through and start tallying the poll of which one is a favorite.
Yeah.
Workflows definitely
cool.
up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So workflows. Let's now do a couple things where we're basically going for everyone listening. Spinny Sprocketeers, thanks for being here. We're going to go with Travis. For those of you listening for the first time, is we're going to hear about where Travis is right now. We're going to stick that goalpost in the ground. We're going to go back to where he started with HubSpot, stick that goalpost in the ground. And we're going to talk about the in-between, basically through milestones and through people that he wants to call out. And so, Travis, for that first one, can you just give us a couple statements, give us an idea of what you're doing now?
Yeah, so right now I am a solopreneur, hope to be a solopreneur with a small team of freelancers and other people to help because I know I can't do it alone. But right now it's just me. And I'm the founder of RainierDigital, which has been around since 2009, the last economic downturn. It was spawned then, and has taken on a lot of different forms, and just kept the name. Might rebrand at some point in time, but
Right.
I'm not a brand person, so I'm just gonna stick with it, man. Like people know me and they know RainierDigital, and I'm just gonna leave it at that for right now. But it was, I was doing paid search, paid media at one point in time. And I've done some recruitment through it. It's just been it started out as like my way of like having a legit business to be able to do side gigs, right? And keep taxes clean. But yeah, so right now I'm calling it growth ops because I really don't like the term rev ops. And marketing ops is too narrow because I have sales experience, I have marketing experience, but I also have recruitment experience. And I think that's a growth lever that companies can pull. And I think that has its own ops that need to be tackled. And I think I just think silos need to be blown up across the business, not just with sales and marketing and CS, right? So I think there's a lot of levers to a company's growth that go beyond those three key, kind of more focused on components. So I am rebranding that and call it something I feel fits more with what I can do and offer, right? So yeah,
that is definitely a spot in the market of saying I don't identify as a rev ops. I identify more as a growth ops. And I'm often talking about the two phases of like, you're either maintaining the business that you have, which is a lot of work, right? Or you're growing. So at any stage along your growth, you're either doing one of those two. And it sounds to me like you're identifying that in that growth phase, there not only are things that you have to do to run your business, there are other additional things that you have to do to be growing that existing business into a
absolutely.
new. Yeah. Love that. All right. Maybe that'll come up more as we go along here of where that's coming from, which is always fun, what unfolds.
Yeah.
Talk to us then, Travis, about the starting point, your first HubSpot role. What were you doing? How did you get there? What did that look like?
Yeah. So it was 2013 or 14. I can't remember.
Okay.
And I just left a full-time recruiting role at Microsoft, decided to take the leap and do marketing full-time. I had been doing it as side gigs, trying to work my way out of recruitment, that I fell into accidentally, and just decided, hey, no one's going to hire me because I don't have, legit marketing experience. I'm going to brute force this thing, and I can't fire myself. I mean, maybe I can fire myself, but I can also hire myself, and I'm going to do that, right? So decided, you know what, I'm done with recruiting for now. I'm going to just do this marketing thing. And I started down the path of HubSpot partnerhood then, and considered it. And that was when it was really just a marketing automation platform. And that was it, right? And heavy inbound. And at that time, my core focus was more paid search and paid media. And so I just decided to stick with that. So never fully went down the HubSpot route, but I started. And then 2020, end of 2020, early 2021, I was a director of marketing for a company based in Denver, but I was working remotely, managing a team of like 8 people. And just it finally had the itch to like do my own thing again, and work on more problems, more projects, work with more companies, see more things, gain more exposure. And I was talking to my cousin who owns an agency in Indianapolis called Found Search Marketing, and she said, "Man, I think you should like look at HubSpot again and just dig into that." And she's like, "Knowing what I know about you and what you enjoy about marketing, she's like, I think that could be like where you fit." And then I had just written a book that was published in 2020 about recruitment marketing. And a lot of what I talked about in the book aligns with HubSpot and ops for recruitment, right? And recruitment marketing. And I started to connect the dots. I'm like, yeah, that is what I enjoy. I just wrote a book on it essentially, but a different lens.
Sure.
So yeah, I'll check it out again. So I did and became a partner. And that was officially became a partner in May of 2021. So I haven't really been back in the fold for very long, but thanks, man. But yeah, a lot of imposter syndrome, a shit ton of imposter syndrome came like flooding over me, like that pivot from a director and leading strategy over all of marketing to then like digging in deep, and needing to know this stuff really fast, especially after saying thanks, but I'm going to be on my own now. Didn't do it as a side gig, which I normally do when I make pivots. It was just like, and I think 2020 had that effect on a lot of people. We're just like, life's too short, man. If I'm going to jump, I'm going to jump with both feet, and I'm doing this thing. It's kind of what it was. And so yeah, went in and just started to learn, man. Was in communities, just a sponge. I wasn't talking much. I was listening a lot, observing a lot, and just had to become comfortable with uncomfortable. Like I had to be best friends with it, man. Like let's dance and let's do this. Right. And it was hard because it's really hard, especially as you advance through your career. I mean, I've always loved learning new things. And so I think it's been exciting for me. It's kind of given me a new life in my career, but it's really hard when you get comfortable with something and things are easy to then just jump into uncomfortable and like really uncomfortable. It's challenging. Mentally, it was challenging.
Having to learn on the fly while also trying to be the expert, and saying that you can, and you, because you can do, you might not know specifically each little step, but this concept is something you're capable of. It's how do I implement? It sounds like that was tough.
Yeah.
Which just is.
Yeah. It was tough. And I don't pretend to know what I don't know. And so that made it hard. Right. And so it was just, and to drive new business, like you've got to be out there at social talking about what you know. It's like, well, I'm learning,
Well said, Travis. So, I just want to point out, you said, I don't pretend to know what I don't know, which is hard to run a business on.
Yeah, it is.
So often it's like, well, yeah, we can, if you're being honest, no, we've actually never done that. We'll figure it out for you, but.
Yeah. And that's how I approached it. It's like, I have all of this experience in sales and marketing. So I understand it very, very well. I understand the strategy. And within certain industries, I tried to stay within the industries I know, which is staffing agencies and staffing and kind of manufacturing, medical equipment type of things, where I was a director of marketing in that world. And I've tried to just stay in businesses and markets I know. Right. And if I know that, then we can get the other stuff to work for it, instead of like going to HubSpot and trying to make it fit into a business that you don't know anything about. Right. So that's kind of my approach. And I've just been on it and just been like, hey, I'll figure this out. We'll make it work. I know what it does. There's nuances, right, like I got to figure out, but can it do it? Yeah. Do I know how to do it? Not yet. So that's been kind of how I've rolled.
I appreciate that sentiment, Travis. Those of you listening, I want to point out that Travis just said, if you know an industry, it makes it a little bit more manageable when you're trying to implement a new tool into that industry, because you already know how that industry operates. But when you're trying to do a new industry and a new tool simultaneously, I mean, that's exponentially more difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're learning a lot more than what you really should be learning at that point in time.
Need to maybe go get a job where someone's telling you how it works, and you're just implementing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you gave us a bit. Usually we'd go into the journey, but you kind of gave us a bit of the journey. To recap, are the high points you had started, like you said, 2013, 2014, but then there was like a lull, and then you kind of came back 2019?
Yeah, well, really 2021, really. So really 2014 to 2021. So almost 7 years, right? Like 7-year gap in between, like when I first touched up. I mean, I worked with other marketing automation platforms and things and other tools. Like I was heavy into tools. Like that was kind of my thing, where I always was I always ended up like that was the magnet for me, or the, if that was a light, I was the moth. I always just found myself dealing with technology, going down that route. So it made it easy to get back. I think the thing with HubSpot is it changed so much, Yeah,
that's what I wanted to get to. So from 2014 to 2021, what was that like? You're opening it back up like, this isn't just marketing anymore.
Oh, it was Rip Van Winkle, man. I like woke up in a new world. It's like, what? It can do this and it can do this now. And what? So, I mean, there was so much that happened. Like if you were a HubSpot partner starting then and stuck with it, everything would be added on gradually. You'd learn it. And, by now, like, yeah, that was easy because it happened so slowly. Right. But for me, it was like 7 years worth of stuff. I had to like learn super quick and figure it all out and how it all worked together. And so, yeah, I mean, it was like I was in a coma for 7 years and woke up. It's like, whoa, this is the world now. Okay. I can dig it, but I got to learn it. So,
right. It's now there's multiple hubs, and then there's pricing structures for each hub, and then all the tools that go along with each one.
Yeah. And a CRM. They didn't have a CRM back then.
Right.
They were still tied to HubSpot or Salesforce pretty tightly then.
Crazy.
So yeah, a whole different world.
Woke up from a coma and all of a sudden there's a fully baked product out there.
Yeah.
We won't get into all that grandstanding, but so along the way, then you actually mentioned, was it your sister or your aunt?
Cousin.
Your cousin. Who are some of the people in some of those roles along the way that you want to call out for whatever reason? Either you worked with them or they said something to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think my cousin Julie Wampner.
Julie.
She's also an IU alum, like you and I. Go Hoosiers!
Go Hoosiers! So, IU.
And so she really got my whole marketing career going because she was like employee number 7 at Google in the Google AdWords department back then, and that's why she started a paid search company after they went public shortly after. And she's been instrumental throughout my entire marketing career. Like she's who I lean on whenever I have a question. Like she's really taught me the ropes from day one. Yeah. And she's kind of my sounding board of like sanity. Like, hey, am I crazy to think this could work? Or hey, me. What should I do? so yeah, that's why I'm in HubSpot now, because of her.
Thanks.
And then I think, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then Ali Schwanke is another person. I think Ali, and we met several years ago at a conference here in Washington State, in the Tri-Cities, and just kind of became friends ever since then. I think it was like 2019 when I met her. Yeah, we just kind of became friends, and I lean on her for a lot of things since she's a HubSpot partner and knows a lot about HubSpot. And then, we talk about a lot of other things too. I consider her a friend. Now I see her in Nebraska once a year when I go there in February. Brilliant time to be in Nebraska, by the way. If you want to go, February is the time.
February is the time. Shout out to the HubSpot Hacks YouTube channel. If you're listening right now, go over to YouTube and type in HubSpot Hacks and subscribe to that channel. Amazing
Absolutely.
Content.
Yep. Yeah, that's where I learn a lot. So I see her every February when I go to Nebraska, to Lincoln, Nebraska for a nonprofit gala. And then I'd say, Sam Anderson at Origin 63. That's another HubSpot agency. She, has brought me in on some projects early on, early last year. Was able to help when they kind of were at capacity, needed some help. And that really helped me. I mean, talk about imposter syndrome. Like now when you're doing it for somebody else and you don't want to mess up, you don't really want to mess up for a client, but you don't really want to mess up for another partner. Right. Mm-hmm. I think that was even more pressure than doing it for a client. But learned a ton, and that kind of helped get my confidence up and, helped me get over some humps there with what I knew. And so that was a huge help in kind of kickstarting my world. So yeah, thanks, those Sam. Are the kind of the key people.
That's awesome. Shout out to Sam as well at Origin 63. It's awesome. Thanks for sharing the story and the people. It's my favorite part to listen to. I know I have key people in my life and I know what they mean to me. So it's very interesting for me personally to hear about other people's stories. It's my favorite part.
Yeah. And we need people, right? We can't do it alone. So
exactly. All right. The controversial, interesting last question. Travis 2032. In a couple weeks that won't be true, but Travis 2032 is in front of you. What is he doing? What does he say to you? What does he remind you, or what does he validate and reassure you about? Tell us that.
Gosh, 10 years from now. I mean, it's so hard to even predict 2 years from now, but I mean, hopefully, like, my business will be thriving. It will be in a really good place. I will have a team. I don't know if I ever want to have employees. So I will have a team of people who I lean on who also don't want to be employees. And so together we'll go conquer this thing. So the business will be thriving. I will have a good balance between free time and work time. I think that's going to be important from now through then, especially with young kids growing up. At that point, my youngest will be almost 10 years old, which is because he's like 2 months now. So that's weird. I can't see him beyond being a baby. Have
like a face, like a little personality and stuff.
Oh yeah. He'll be talking back, and right now I can't talk. So yeah, that'll be strange. I can't even imagine that. Right. So yeah, that'll be happening. That'll be weird. I think, one of the biggest things is like, I would tell myself like, hey, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. And there's magic to saying no to things. And that's how we got here 10 years from now, because we focused on the right things, and didn't get sidetracked. And also hope to have kind of multiple income streams through the business, through other things, right? So like winding road careers, we'll be doing courses and all kinds of things. Hopefully by then I'll have at least 2 more books under. I'd like to do a book every 3 to 5 years. So that, and by maybe the third one, it won't be as shitty as the first 2. So hopefully I'll have a good book out by then. So
New York Times bestseller on the third one. Got it.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's so hard, man. Like to think 10 years out from now, because it'll be such a different world.
Yeah, it'll be a different world. You'll be a different person. It's like some people will ask, what's your favorite book? Sometimes I ask people, what book have you read the most times? Because the book stayed the same, but you've changed. Yeah. So what book do you keep going back to? It's so hard to predict what you're going to be like.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably say that the books that I'll keep going back to then are probably the same ones now. Like The Art of Possibility being a big one. Like I have a feeling I'll be reading that numerous times between now and the next 10 years.
And it's crazy. So, as you read it, you get different things out of it that you didn't get before, which is
exactly
changed.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy how it just, the lens changes, right? Like you see it differently. Like I read these words 3 times already. Now for the 4th or 10th time, like, I didn't get that the first time, or now it makes more sense, so yeah, it's kind of crazy.
All right, Travis, for those listening, where can they find you if they want to reach out to you?
Yeah, I'm most active on LinkedIn. If you just look, Travis Scott, Travis L. Scott, I have to do that because a rapper has killed my brand, which again, I'm not a brand guy. If I would have been, I would have locked up a bunch of stuff a long time ago, and he had easy access to that. But look up Travis L. Scott, RainierDigital. If you search for those things, you'll find me. And Twitter, every once in a while, I'll tweet something. And I'm 509 Marketer on Twitter.
509 Marketer. Is that the zip?
The area code for Spokane. Yeah. So yeah, the 509.
509 Marketer. I like that. Thank you so much, Travis, for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was great.
All right, Sprocketeers, thanks for listening. Until next time, spinny spinny.